Alright, as you can hear for that music, which I'd better get away from for copyright reasons, going to see Star Wars Episode 1 in cinemas for the first time in probably a decade. The last time I saw it was with the digital 3D conversion. The only one that's actually been released into cinemas. Episodes 2 and 3 were completed and into digital 3D conversion. But the last time anyone saw them in public was with the Star Wars Celebration Convention. It seems like a long time ago. Before the Disney takeover, although there are other reasons why they may not have gotten released. A shame. As it is, what I've gone and seen would be basically a 4K conversion. Or upscale. With regards to that, I'd say it looks pretty good, but the dark scenes, it still looks kind of off. It doesn't quite look right. A bit too dark to see all the details. So that's a bit of a pity. Right. Other than that, it looks pretty good. It's good to actually watch these Star Wars movies again and again, 2D, 3D, or otherwise, so you can get so you can see things you may have missed or think differently about. Perhaps you may have thought harshly early on, and now you think of things in a different light. Especially when you're you go and see them when you're a kid, and then you see them when you're grown up. Especially some more things that are more. Some adult jokes, perhaps. Well, I couldn't see any in this one, but things like that, they may come up. So it's really good to go and see a movie over and over again. That being said, Episode 1 was never my favorite Star Wars movie. Certainly not. Although it's certainly not the worst Star Wars movie, if you can call the holiday special a movie. That was quite terrible. Certainly. Here I am at Regal Cinema. So I didn't see this on May the 4th. But I had things to do or something came up, whatever. But plenty of people were wearing their shirts, Star Wars shirts as such. So was I, actually. Right. Surprisingly, not as many theaters here in the cinema that are showing it as much as I thought. Don't see any posters for it, but in any case, as far as the movie itself goes, things I liked about it and things I didn't. I thought the effects were pretty. The CGI effects were definitely pretty fantastic. They seemed a bit too shiny at first, but. After watching all these boatloads of other Star Wars movies with the CGI effects since then, I've gotten used to that. The third trilogy is definitely weakest of the box, I think. Especially the last one they made. But I did recently finish watching Dave Filoni's The Bad Batch animated series on Disney Plus, and that is definitely quite good. I know some people were thinking that it'd be good to see Omega from that show on the live action production. I think I would agree. I did like the pod race and the duel of the fight scene. Those are pretty good. Duel of the fights music there is actually top notch. Of course, there were a bunch of video games actually made around, at least a couple, around the pod race from that movie. And the movie itself from Episode 1, so check that out. There's still a lot of machines at different arcades here and there, including when I was in Vegas. I believe it was at the Horseshoe, the arcade at Horseshoe, if I'm not mistaken. My memory serves me right. I actually do have the autograph of the bloke who did the Roger voice from the robots, the attack robots. What do you call them? The Federation, the Trade Federation had battle droids. Yes, right. He was also the voice of General Grievous and a sound engineer as well. I have his autograph. He's a great guy. No complaints there. And the sound engineering was certainly good. Oh yes. I do not like the. I know a lot of people seem to grow up with the prequels when they're little. Seem to think more highly of Jar Jar Binks than I do, but I hated him. He actually drags down the movie quite a bit. As I recall, people seem to like even the kiddos seem to like Darth Maul quite a bit more. But we see Jar Jar much more. He had his own cereal too. Very clone of alphabet. The alphabet cereal. If any of you remember that, it's exactly what it sounds like. Letters of the English of the Roman alphabet. English letters specifically. Yes. There are more pictures coming out. Yes, and they seemed like there was a certain interest to get kids into Jar Jar. I don't know how well that worked. And the Queen Amidala, who has a bunch of different outfits in this movie, they're all very pretty. Can't complain there. Very fantastic looking outfits for the Queen Amidala. I don't like the whole midi-chlorian thing. I'm not going to get into details for those of you who haven't seen the picture, but it seems to take away from the whole mystical kind of atmosphere, or semi-quasi-religious kind of thing I got, a spiritual thing I got from watching the original trilogy. Of course, probably get dating myself here, but my performer had she enjoyed the Return of the Jedi. She saw it in the cinemas, probably Empire Strikes Back as well, but definitely remembered watching Return of the Jedi and thinking of it quite fondly, and wanted to go and buy up all the posters and toys and stuff right off the bat, right out of the cinema. Oh, definitely, she quite loved the Ewoks. I know a lot of people hate on the Ewoks and I think of them like the Gungans, but I thought they were adorable. I even watched the Ewoks cartoon. If any of you remember that, apparently it is not considered canon. For those who care, and I have read some of the comics. They're cute. It's kind of like if you think of it, the cartoon and the comics are kind of more like a fantasy kind of a vibe. If any of you are familiar with stuff like Lord of the Rings or that sort of thing with orcs and whatever. Well, there are no orcs in there are no orcs or anything like that, but or elves, unless you count that second Ewoks movie, which is also not canon. I saw there are two Ewoks movies, and I definitely saw the first one. I enjoyed it. Not a whole lot, but I liked it. Yes, I did happen to see the actor for Wiki, who played Wicked, actually, in Return of the Jedi. I don't really remember much about him, though. Could have got his autograph, paid some money for it, but I didn't. Shame. It's a decent film. It doesn't seem very remarkable at first, the whole setup with the trade negotiations, but that actually is quite a bit how things work in wars. A lot of times they start out from rather mundane origins and blossom into something worse as time goes on. Did you see this movie? Did you get my review? Zendaya is fantastic. New Star Wars stuff here. And yes, correction to Mike, the new Disney Plus miniseries is not Tales of the Sith, but Tales of the Empire, I should say. That's up now. I've not gotten a chance to see that, and Apparently these days they want you to watch all the different Star Wars shows and movies and whatever to get the full picture of things. But I'm not going to. I have a life. It's hard to believe. There are people that kill and people that things to steal, so... so no, I'm not going to do all that. I mostly just go out to see the movies. The only Star Wars movies I haven't seen would be the second Ewoks film. Maybe I did see it a long time ago. Both the Ewoks movies were released theatrically in Europe. I have not seen those at the cinema, of course, because I'm not in Europe and never been there. Well, actually, no, I have been to Europe, yes, but not when those movies were released. Right, and I did not see the animated Clone Wars movie, which is basically a pilot for the Clone Wars TV series, which is quite excellent. That's an excellent series. I don't like the whole voiceover thing of the recap things and all that. It kind of annoyed me and jumping around. I think Star Wars Rebels handled that better, and certainly the Bad Batch, which is great. Both, I believe, they had the same director or producer. Great music in that as well. I certainly did like episode 2 more than episode 1, and episode 3 is actually my favorite film of the Star Wars franchise, believe it or not. It's a very Shakespearean kind of tragedy, not a comedy, which the whole Jar Jar bits in episode 1 are kind of meant to be. There are some jokes in episode 1, but they weren't that funny. Yes, although I think for overall entertainment value, I probably enjoyed the Return of the Jedi the most. So for some reason, I really loved Jabba the Hutt. I don't know why. I actually have 2 of the action figures, the original Kenner action figures for that. I actually have quite a bunch of action figures for the original trilogy. Not in box. Mostly don't have the boxes, but they're complete. Most of them don't have the full jar. Don't have the full Jabba though. I don't have he's what do they call that bed he's on, whatever it is, or the accessories. Don't have that. Shame. I do want that. And don't really have anything from. I do have a few things from episode 1. I have some of the fast food restaurant promotional items, like the cup, rubbery cup holder things, rubbery cup, whatever lid thing, whatever they call that. A few of the little puppets. I think they were puppets, weren't they? Oh, these look like lightsabers, don't they? Huh? Aye. But I didn't really. I think. Oh yes, I do have one of the Ray toppers from The Force Awakens, and I do have at least one of the books from Heir to the I do have the Heir to the Empire book from before the Disney bought everything up. They extended the universe that is now no good canon. A lot of people really love that. They would like to see something done with that, but I don't know if they're ever going to do that. Anyway, I guess I've been going on and off. Anyway, Star Wars is great. Episode 1 is not that great, but it's a good, it's decent enough. This one looks pretty exciting. I hope it won't disappoint me. This is going to be a prequel to sorts to Mad Max Fury Road, which is pretty darn good itself. May 17th. Alright. Well, everyone, may the 4th be with you, and stay foxy.